You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, YNR fans. It is Belinda from Soap Dirt, and I have got your YNR spoilers for the next episode, July 17th, 2023 on Young the Restless. There is big action in front burner storylines with Audra, Tucker. We have got the Newmans in a big argument. We have got two people hitting the sheets or the sofa cushions, and we have got somebody walking away from their family, promising it is for good. Before we dig into what you can expect on the July 17th episode, we'd love it if you'd click subscribe so you don't miss any of our YNR spoilers and nudes. All right, digging in. We have got Audra Charles chatting with her ex-lover, Tucker McCall, at the GCAC. A lot of action at the GCAC on Monday's episode. He is shocked when he sees that she is texting Kyle Abbott for a hookup, and they chat back and forth about what's going on, but she's not really focused on him. She's focused on Kyle coming over to do the deed. Also at the GCAC, but up in a room, Nate and Victoria are boinking, and they're talking about couple goals and how they want it all, yada, 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 their usual needy, greedy stuff. All right. So while their sister is upstairs betting her COO, her brothers, Adam and Nick, are drinking in the GCAC Jazz Lounge. Nick's got a beer. Adam's got some scotch or something brown and gross. And they are just bickering. You know, Nick's telling Adam, stay away from Sharon. Adam's like, oh, am I the big bad wolf? And then they talk about Victor pushing them to work together and how that would be just really uncomfortable. And maybe they just agree to disagree and all that. At the ranch, Victor is complaining to Nikki about Victoria going rogue and making these wild business decisions, and he's worried about Adam, and he wants Nick to do what he wants. So he summons all of them plus Nate out to the ranch. Once they all get there, Victor says, all of y'all are out of control, and Nate's untrustworthy. That last part is just, duh, of course, that doesn't even need to be said, does it? And then Victor starts handing out ultimatums. He says Adam's company is going to become part of Newman. Nick is going to work there and run it with him. And Adam, of course, leaves mad because this is not the deal he and his dad cut. And, you know, he was supposed to be reining in all three of the kids. And Nick is immediately like, okay, Dad, you know, he'll just do whatever. He'll do whatever his dad says until he decides he doesn't want to do it anymore. And then he'll dig in his heels and he won't do it. He knew Adam was going to leave mad. And he's like, oh, you know, if he walks away from this, then I'm done with him. Meanwhile, he didn't do anything to Victoria. None of her issues got addressed. She is wildly out of control. She needs to be reined in, and Victor did nothing. However, I do think he is going to do something soon. But this time he did not. Maybe he was distracted by Adam walking out. Afterward, Victoria and Nate toast, and they're like, hey, we got rid of Adam. We got the company. Yay, we're turning up. Everything's going our way. So while the Newmans are starting this civil war over at the ranch, we have Detective Chance showing up at Crimson Light. Sharon offers to make him a coffee. They make some small talk about Phyllis and what fate she is facing. And she talks to him about getting Kirsten incorporated from her crazy dead stalker in his will. Then they start making out. They are ripping off each other's clothes. He's picking her up. Then he takes her back to the couch in her office, and that's where they do the deed in the back room at Crimson Lights. That's not terribly romantic. I mean, it's one thing if you're already been with someone and you've been intimate for a while, and then you decide to have a hot, hasty hookup at, you know, work after hours. That's one thing, but for your first time, it's just, I don't like it. It feels trashy to me. And I don't think Sharon is trashy. It just, I don't know. I mean, Sharon has a house. Chance has been there. We've seen them there recently. Why couldn't he stop by there to check on her? And they could have done it on the sofa there, which they probably would have. I'm trying to think. I know we've seen Sharon's bedroom set, but it's been a while. It's been a while. So, they have finished doing their naughty business, and they're sitting there under a blankie on her office sofa, and there's this beating on the door, and it is Adam Newman. He is very upset about his dad. He had apparently tried to text and call Sharon, and she wasn't answering because she was knocking boots with Chance. And I don't even know if Adam registers like Sharon's postcoital. He's very worked up. And so he tells her all this stuff about how they can't merge her company, Kirsten, with his company, Augustus, that he's calling it now, because his dad is being a tyrant again, as usual. He's like, I'm done with the Newmans. I'm done with all this. And he just wants to work with Sharon at her company. You know, she really only wanted to work with him to help him out with his grief. So I tend to think she may say yes. And I think Nick's going to lose his mind over it because he was just like, stay away from Sharon. All right. So that's what happens on Monday, July 17th. On the following episode, we've got Summer catching Kyle with Audra. And we've got Daniel Romalotti suffering with some guilty feelings. He's got a guilty conscience. Hey, if you haven't already, please click subscribe so you don't miss any of our Y&R updates. And we'd love it if you click a like on this. Hopefully you will watch this Young and the Restless episode. It looks pretty hot and we are excited to see it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.